How's everyone doing?
Good, good.
Good. Okay. Perfect. So today, essentially, what we're going to go over, for the most part, is just a really baseline social media presentation for Rotary. And the basis behind this really is to, it's more so for the clubs that don't have a strong social media presence currently. And this is kind of the, hopefully, initiation for you guys to create a really strong social media presence. And at the end of the presentation, if we want, and some of you, if you guys do already have a social media presence, we can kind of go into deeper questions during the Q&A. Does that sound good to everyone?
Sounds good.
Hey,
Sounds good.
yes. Awesome. So what I'm going to start with is, let's go ahead and start. So the overview for this webinar, essentially we're going to go over a section that's called Getting Started. Ideally, what we're going to do in that section is identify social media networks and how we choose the social media networks that work for our club specifically. And then we're going to go over voice and tone. One of the main things I always like to really push in marketing and digital marketing in general is really having a voice and a tone and figuring out what outcome and what you're going to portray towards your audience. And that's something that I really think that clubs need to be more consistent with. And we'll go over some best practices on how to achieve that today. Next, we're going to go over Audience 101, and that's really identifying who you want to present to and who is out there really interacting and engaging with your social media platforms. After that, we'll do a really quick how to set up a business Facebook page. Oh, interesting. What's that on my screen? Someone's like writing on it. How to set up a business Facebook page. And then we'll go into content curation and how to do photos, live videos for your meetings and events. And then we'll do a quick overview of Instagram. And of course, if you guys have specific things you want to discuss, I would just recommend maybe just jotting it down, and then we can kind of touch base on that at the end. Okay, let's move forward. So the purpose, being on social media has evolved from a question of should we to which network, and social media is increasingly becoming the key to increasing brand awareness and expanding community beyond your club. So this focus that I have here, what I really wanted to focus on for our webinar today was not necessarily these lofty ideas that digital marketers kind of focus on. I really wanted to focus on things that are tangible for Rotarians specifically. So a lot of the slides you'll see here and a lot of the content are things that I gathered through my own experience, but also from Rotary and the Rotary.org website. So it's all things that you can get off of the website as well. So that's a good tidbit for you guys to know. If you go to Rotary.org/social media, some of this content will be there as well. But yeah, expanding the community beyond your club. So really creating awareness of your club. This is something that my club doesn't really focus on specifically on our social media, but driving donations, inspiring partnerships, increasing visibility, and increasing community engagement. So we're going to go into our first topic, which is choosing a social network. So when it comes to social channels, just the ones that matter is what you should be focusing on. And really to evaluate and figure out what that is you're going to want to figure out how much time you can devote to managing social media. And honestly, that is the first question that clubs should always think about, specifically for your public image chair. Our club specifically, we try to devote about 1 hour a day to social media. And that was our very lofty goal at the beginning of last year for our Rotary year. But then we realized that that was not a feasible goal. And then we kind of dwindled it down to about 3 to 5 hours a week. And that was really a time that is divided amongst 5 of us. So really what you need to identify with your club is who's going to be managing these social media pages and how much time the main thing I always try to stress with people for social media is being consistent. So whether you're gonna devote 1 hour a week, 1 hour a day, you want to be consistent with that and really identifying a consistency so that whoever your audience is can know what to expect from you guys. Next, plan for an hour each day to post and monitor. So again, that's a very lofty goal. For me, it's more about consistency. So it doesn't have to be completely 1 hour a day. It could be 1 hour a week. Figure out what works for your club. And again, where are your potential members engaging online? So for that, there are different types of social media networks, and we're going to go over that in the next slide. But you really want to figure out what demographic your club is really trying to focus on. And that's more of a question for your membership chair, and that's when your membership chair and your social media or public image chair can really dive into figuring out and identifying what demographics you want to engage with. And last, which social channels are right for you. So if we go to the next slide, you'll see that I've put up the 4 most commonly used social media channels used by Rotary clubs. And today what we're really going to focus on is Facebook and Instagram. I think for most marketers, you'll realize that for them, for businesses, they'll really push Facebook and Instagram more than the other 2. And that's primarily because of the type of people that you'll find on each of those 2, which is Facebook and Instagram. For Facebook, demographically, you'll realize that the common misconception is that on social media, it's mostly Gen Xers and Gen Zers, but the reality of it is that baby boomers and Gen Xers are the 2 that are on Facebook the most. So if you're really trying to identify Rotarians, which primarily is in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, Facebook is going to be the ideal network for you. And then for Instagram, what you're going to really want to focus on is for those younger members, for those interactors and rotaractors, as well as the young professionals who are just coming up in their careers, so in their 20s and 30s. We can kind of go over each channel. So for Facebook, updates and news from friends and family, and brand users or likes. So for that, really, Facebook is very tangible and it's all about relationship building. And that's what we really want to focus on, is telling your story on Facebook. And that's, you'll notice in comparison to Instagram, Facebook is where you'll share loftier, longer comments. And that's where you can really do more storytelling as opposed to Instagram, which is a lot more visual. And especially with Rotary, Facebook's the opportunity where you want to really talk about your service projects and what matters to your club specifically. And then what's great about Facebook is that you can do paid content, and that's a big bucket of worms that we can get into later. But that's the real great part about Facebook, is that you can definitely target people specifically based on their demographics. Let's see. Let's go on to the next slide. So the question is, what should I post? People engage with content that connects with their passions, gives them ideas and inspiration, helps achieve their goals, and entertains them. And these are really things that we should focus on as Rotarians, because if you notice with a lot of Facebook pages that don't do well, you'll see that they're really trying to push and sell and not really create a connection with people. And through my experience, especially with Rotary pages, the ones that do well, you'll see more pictures of faces and really a lot of storytelling. The ones that really focus on like flyers and pushing their events and pushing fundraisers, you'll notice those don't do well. It should be more of a passive push. And really, the residual benefit of telling your story is that's how you'll get the engagement for the fundraising, as well as getting people to your events. So voice and tone. So this is something that I got off of the Rotary branding page. Are most of you familiar on how to get there through Rotary.org? So I know most of you are muted, so I just wanted to get like a little temperature check. Does anyone not know how to get there? Everyone
I
good?
don't understand. What? I don't understand.
Okay, sorry. So actually, with all of our Rotary's marketing efforts, there are resources that you can get to specifically about our brand. And it kind of talks about how pictures should be used and how the language should be used. And I just wanted to kind of do a nod to that for this specific slide. It's not something that you have to focus on, but I just wanted to see if most people are trying to stay Rotary compliant with their branding, and if you do have questions, do you know how to get to that information?
Not really.
Okay, I'll take a note for that, and then what I'll do is I'll show you when I exit out of this screen shortly how to get to rotary.org, and I'll show you how to get to the branding section. So with this current slide, it's just really showing the voice and tone of what Rotary wants us to really exemplify when we're writing content. And the four areas they really want our voice to exemplify is how we are experts and compassionate and persevering and inspiring. And these are kind of just really do's and don'ts. And if you guys want to read this, I'll send you guys the slides. It's not necessarily something you want to focus on. It's very lofty, but I want it to be more tangible. So we'll get into the more tangibles shortly. So one of the main things that you really need to focus on when you're doing social media is knowing who your audience is. And I kind of bulleted out certain things that you really want to think about when you're creating content. So when you're getting pictures and getting creating the comments and posts for your social media. So you want to know who your target audience is and get specific and who are you reaching. That's super important in regards to choosing who your audience is. Something that you want to keep in mind is that you're busy, but so are they. So don't waste your time or theirs. So really, they want added value. They don't want people to be posting things that aren't relative to them. So for the most part, people who are going to be visiting your social media platforms are really interested in Rotary and hearing your story and knowing what type of projects you're doing and knowing specifically what your district is doing or your club is doing. So you really want to focus on those things. You don't necessarily want to push anything that may deter people to look at your content. Something that's important, it's not all about you. Show interest in needs of others and partners. Do not just focus on club meetings. The clubs that I did notice that do super well in regards to their content, they really show the needs and the interests of their partners. So if you have a specific nonprofit you're working with, it's really important that you kind of shine light upon that. Or if you have a certain project that you're gonna focus on, to really highlight that. I do notice that a lot of clubs tend to show a lot of club meetings, and what you really want to do is diversify your content so that it's not just completely 100% about your meetings. I think one of the takeaways I got from a lot of the other trainings in regards to public image is that people really identify with the service projects. They don't necessarily, they come for the meetings initially, but they stay because of the service projects. So that's something that we really need to be cognizant of when we're posting content. Do unto others. So people like mentions and retweets. So for that, with Facebook and Instagram, what you're gonna really wanna do is make sure that you tag people or even repost content. And I'll show you examples of that later. But what really you want to do is create some engagement with people. You don't necessarily want people to just be reading your posts. If you can kind of create and show that you have a community of people, that's what ideally you want to create. Be focused when asking for donations. So ideally keep this below the 10% mark. So what I want to focus on that is that with our club, we try to not post as much about donations or specifically asking for money or anything, because we do notice that it's kind of a deterrent. So I always say even keep it under 5%, because really what you want to do is show the value of their donation as opposed to asking for their donation. So show them where their money is going. And then be responsive. So respond to messages or comments or likes within 24 hours, aim for less. So with our club, we try to respond to things immediately. We kind of have like this 1 hour rule. So there's like 5 people in our club that manage all of our social media. So usually one of us will reply to that. Okay, so what I really want to do next is show you guys how to set up a Facebook page. I'm going to switch screens real quick to my other screen, and then we can kind of go over the steps and the process of creating a Facebook page. Okay, can everyone see the new page that should be highlighted?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so to create a business page, and ideally what I really want to focus on is why you should create a business page as opposed to a personal page. So for a business page, the difference is that you'll get a lot of added benefit, meaning you'll be able to see the insights, and let me show you here. So with a business page, you get to see all of this extra analytics, and it really helps you in the long run in regards to figuring out what's working for your business page. When you have a personal page only, you aren't able to do that. So that's ideally why you want to create a business page as opposed to a personal page. So from here, I'm going to show you guys how to create your own business pages. So when you're in your personal page, so ideally everyone who wants to create a business page is going to have to start with creating a personal page. And if any of you don't know how to create a personal page, what I can do is at the end of this meeting, and maybe Naomi, can we send them like follow-up notes? And we can kind of create like a resource manual for them, because I have a presentation that shows them how to create personal pages as well if they want that. Naomi? Okay, well, if anything, I'll get your guys' contact information. So if any of you don't know how to set up a personal page, we can do that as well. But so the first step to create a business page is when you're logged in to Facebook, you're gonna see this in the top right-hand corner, it'll say create. So you're gonna click on create, and then you're gonna click on page. So that'll take you to this option here. Then you'll ideally pick business or brand, and you'll press get started. So for the purposes of this presentation, we'll just make up a club name. So I'll just say Rotary Club, Rotary Sample Club of Honolulu. Oh. And then category, I always do, for Rotary, I would say community organization would be the most fitting category. So after you fill out what your page name will be, you'll press continue. Okay. So what's really great about Facebook that it's come to the point where it's very intuitive now. So these directions are very self-explanatory. So the first step is going to be adding a profile picture. So you're going to press upload a profile picture, and then if you're on your phone or if you're on your computer, it'll automatically prompt you. So I guess for the purposes of this, we'll just use Brian's picture. Don't worry, we'll delete it later. And then next, it'll ask you for a cover photo. So a cover photo is that large photo that's on top of your page. So you're gonna wanna choose something that will really resonate with your readers. So why don't we just choose the district conference logo for now. So Facebook will automatically populate this for you. And what's great is after you do all of that, you'll see here that it populates your club name, your profile picture, and then with your cover photos actually do need to be approved by Facebook, so it'll take a while to upload. The next great part is that you get to add friends, so Facebook will automatically prompt you to do that. Another option is that you can see all friends and then you can bulk load all of the people that you want to target for your new Facebook page. And honestly, that's really what it is. It's really that quick, and then you'll have a business page. And what you're going to want to do next is really just go through the page and figure out what needs to be filled out. So I always tell people a call to action button is always important. So I always recommend that you do the call to action button first. For us, we always do the contact us button or the send message. But as you can see, there's totally tons of options that you can choose from here. So I would recommend you do what's best for your club. If you're trying to keep it super basic and really easy for people to use, I would say contact us would be the easiest. Does anyone else specifically out there use any of these buttons, or specifically that isn't the contact us or send email one? I know some clubs use like the sign up button. Some people use the call now. I guess it really just depends on what works for your club. Okay. Does anyone have any questions on how to set up a Facebook page? I mean, what I love about Facebook that it's really that simple now. They've really made it easy for people to use and super intuitive.
All right. And in Seattle, 70,000 people signed an initiative to ban station.
No questions?
No.
Perfect. Okay, so what we'll do is well, first of all, let me go to our Rotary E Club of Hawaii page. So I want to really go over next is content curation and what type of photos and content really works for Rotary clubs. And during this part, if any of you already have experience in regards to content curation and what's working for your clubs, I definitely want to hear some of your feedback. And this would be a great opportunity for all of us to really just share what's working for our clubs. So specifically for the Rotary E Club of Hawaii, what we've noticed that works for us, and maybe I'll go to the insights so you guys can kind of see how we determine that. So if you go to, let's see here. Okay, so if you go to the post section in your insights, you'll be able to see what your reach is for your posts and what's working and what's not. Let's pick a post that did really well. So, okay. So with this one, here's the Serenity Garden post. So with this one, you'll see that the reach was 650 people, and there were 100 likes and 97 comments. So when we look at the post details,
how do we know what was how do we know what is a rotor a like a personal page or a business page?
Oh yeah, so the one I just showed you how to set up is a business page. So we can actually, let me go back and forth between both options so you can kind of see the difference. So okay. If you see here on the eClub's business page, honestly, everything almost looks exactly the same. The only difference really is that it'll have business information. Do you see that here on the right?
Yes.
And but then the layout of all of the posts essentially is the same. And if you go to, let's go to my personal page, I'll show you this. So with the personal page, you see here that there's no business information. And with the personal page, it's laid out a little differently. And the other difference, obviously, is the analytics option. So with the business page, again, Facebook is so intuitive that it allows you the opportunity to really see how your page is performing. So you can see how many people are viewing your page within the last 5 days, how many people your post is reaching, how many people are engaging with your post, what's your response level, and really see what's working and what's not working for all of your posts. And that's really the value of having a business page, is being able to see what type of content works and what doesn't, so that you can constantly evaluate that and put out content that works for your members. So for example, you can see here that a lot of the posts that do well for us are posts with people in it or service projects. So, and then the posts that don't do well, like I said earlier, are the posts that have a lot of words or flyers. And our club typically tries not to post these things, but we also like to promote our members when they're doing great things. So that's one of the things that kind of offsets it, is that you really need to make sure that when you see something like this that doesn't perform well, you try to make sure that you don't do it very often, or you try to put it sporadically in between posts that do well, like pictures. Does that make sense?
Yes. How do you know whether the post is a personal page or a business page?
So essentially, from the user end, you can't really tell. So it's more so for the person that's managing the page. That's the only real difference. From the user end, there's no real difference in regards to how a post is showed. So let me show you, for example, with our page. Like when you look at the post itself, there's no differentiating factor. So it doesn't really affect the users that differently.
Okay.
So essentially, the
North
value is
Hawaii
really
has a
only on
page.
our end. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
North Hawaii has a page, but I don't know if it's a business page or a personal page.
Okay. So my recommendation to you would probably be to identify, because actually the eClub had a very similar issue when we first started, was that we weren't sure who owned the page or who managed the page. So my recommendation would be to figure out who initiated the page originally, and then that way you can get permissions to go into the back end of the page. And if they say that it's a personal page and they can't give you access, my recommendation would be to go ahead and ask them, because really, if it's a personal page, on the managing side, you aren't able to have multiple people manage it. So if it is owned by a specific person, it won't be able to be intuitive enough to have multiple managers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Hopefully that answered your question. Any other questions out there? So one of the cool things I really wanted to show you guys is live videos for meetings and events. So we are an eClub, but what I really want to advocate for some of the other clubs out there is to really post your weekly meetings on Facebook. And that really helps with the exposure of your club. So we started recently doing that as well, where we just live stream our meetings on Facebook so that people who aren't able to attend, and honestly, this for us serves as a makeup meeting as well. The great part is that I get to see who views it or likes it, and that can act as your makeup meeting. So if you see here on the part that I'm highlighting, Michelle Chow is actually a member of our club, and Ron Mabry, Sandy is his wife, and she's a member of our club, and that's how they do their makeup meetings, by going through Facebook. And that's not necessarily something that you guys have to do, but it's also just an added value for your members as well. Any questions?
Is the live stream,
Sorry, dear, I didn't quite hear you. I think you're breaking up.
is the live stream something that your members can watch at a different time, or is it only at the time of the meeting?
No, yeah. So what's great about Facebook is that when you initiate something as a live stream, let me scroll up a little bit. So when you initiate it as a live stream, for example here, and you create a post for it.
All right, your feet will dry.
I'm sorry?
The key reason that I wanted you to rinse them.
Oh, hello? Okay. So to answer your question, when you create a live stream video, after the video is complete, it'll post as a video on your profile. So if you see here, it was posted 4 hours ago, and this will be available for people to watch forever on your profile. And what's great is some of our members like to share it. So it's an opportunity for your members to really share with people outside of the club as well.
Can you record the whole meeting?
Yeah, so actually if you see here, we recorded our entire meeting.
Wow.
Yeah, so we record the whole thing, and it's an amazing resource. So actually with our club, what we do is we live stream on Facebook as well as send out a Zoom link. So similar to what we're doing now, so that members can have multiple options in regards to doing that. So that's kind of why our engagement with our members, we have 40 members. Typically, we get about at least half of our members coming to our meetings because they'll either do it in person or online.
And can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you going to show us how to link in a live feed, please?
Yeah, so what I can do is when you are in the Facebook page, so when you open up the Facebook page on either your phone or a Surface, you'll see the create a post option. So that's right here. I clicked into it. And you're gonna wanna, let's just say, sample post. Check us out, right? So instead of doing a photo or an activity or a check-in, what you're gonna wanna do is create a live feed. And what it'll do is it'll generate your camera. Oh, let me flip that over so you guys don't see the back of my computer. And then it'll populate. So, and then what you'll do is you'll just press go live and it'll automatically go live for you. And then at the end, so let's just press this and I'll delete it after. Hopefully none of my members are like, what are you doing? So there, so now you're on a live video, and then when you're done, you can just press end video. And when you end the video, it'll automatically post as a post on your page. And then done. And then now you'll see the live video below, hopefully. Oh, sorry, my computer's just taking really long to think. But yes, the video when you're done with that will populate here like how this one did. Was that helpful?
So cool.
You put your camera like on a what do you call it? A tripod then?
No, so actually what we do is there is a cool little setup in the back of our room that we put a whole bunch of cell phones on tripods as well as my Surface, and that's how we video it. Also, sometimes we get creative and a couple of members in my club will carry around their iPhone on stabilizers and like walk around and engage with people as well to kind of make it more fun. So it kind of really just depends in what mood. This sweet spot, so this video that you guys are watching right now on the screen is kind of like the ideal location that we found for our meetings now. And it kind of just captures everything, so we kind of like leaving it there. But yeah, I mean, it's something that's super easy to do. and something that's really feasible, honestly, for everyone to kind of accomplish. And it's a great way to kind of get the message out there. Any questions about Facebook Live videos?
So you do that every week? Do you have meetings every week and you post those every week?
So we have in-person once-a-month meetings, and then we have a fellowship meeting once a month, and in the 2 other weeks of the month we do service projects, or we do like an online kind of webinar like how I'm doing right now. So we'll have speakers kind of talk about different topics, and we'll send it to our members via e-newsletter. Yeah, so usually our members have about 4 to 5 to 6 meetings / webinars that they can attend a month.
So a setup could be, and you're hearing me, yes?
Yes, you're good. Thank you.
A setup could be a tripod that will hold an iPhone, and then someone could just start it.
Mm-hmm.
We have a speaker, for example, and then stop it, and ta-da.
Yeah, totally. Let me share my screen with you guys so I can show you the tripod that I bought for like literally $3 on Amazon, and that's the tripod we use, and it's an iPhone tripod. Let me just grab it really quick. So does everyone see this? Can they see my screen now? So this tripod that I bought, we specifically bought it for our meetings, and it literally is about $5 on Amazon, and it's so helpful and it's so affordable. And what's great about it is that you can open it up and it can rest, or what's great is that it's mendable. So if you want to carry it around like this to film, you can do both options. And it's literally like $5 to $10 on Amazon or any cheap website.
And you recommend a horizontal format, yeah?
Horizontal, yeah, specifically just because it's better for framing. When you do vertical, sometimes a lot of things, you're gonna have to move the camera a lot more to fit more things in it. So just best practice in regards to video filmmaking, it's always better to do horizontal.
Randy, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Are you using a special microphone to catch voice?
No, not at all. So what I wanted to do for our members was to make it as easy as possible to create these videos. So honestly, we just use our phone or our Surfaces or our iPads, and for the most part, the quality is decent. So the only time we ever use a camera or microphone is if we do like promotional videos, but that doesn't happen very often. Yeah, so I mean, definitely use what you have. I think what's the point of social media and marketing in general is don't overextend yourself, and do what's feasible for your club, you know, because that's what's going to make it successful, is if it's sustainable for people. Any other questions? Do you guys want to see anything specific, like maybe different posts, how we write comments, or pictures? Anything specific you guys want to see on a Facebook page? If not, what I can do is let's move on to the next section, and we'll kind of just go over Instagram as opposed to Facebook. So for our club, again, like what I said, is that what we try to do is try to make it as easy as possible. So we don't try to reinvent the wheel with our Instagram. So what you'll see on our Instagram is exactly what is on our Facebook. I know in a lot of marketing, a lot of marketers will tell you that Instagram and Facebook should be completely different, because Instagram is more visual and Facebook is more about storytelling, which is true. But for us specifically in Rotary, I think what's most important is us just sharing our story. And we always constantly just repost whatever's on Facebook and have it flow over to Instagram. And the real only difference that we do is we add a different filter to our pictures. I mean, that's not a requirement. I don't recommend having to do all that extra work. But that's really the only difference. And I would really urge you guys that if Instagram's not something you're currently doing, I would definitely tell you that just do the same philosophy that we're doing, is just have everything from your Facebook flow to Instagram, so that way you have an additional stream of visibility. And that's kind of primarily my recommendation of Instagram. I wouldn't recommend doing anything differently. And it's just more for increased visibility for you guys. Any questions? The only other thing, and since I showed you guys the tripod, maybe I want to show you this, is that the one great thing about Instagram is Instagram live videos. So if you see here, what our club tends to do a lot, and I'll make it louder so you can hear, is we'll do live videos at events, or do like pictures at the event. So I'll kind of flip through some of it so you can kind of see examples of what we do. And when you click on it, it'll just go right through each of the things. So for this was the food drive event that our club helped sponsor. So you'll see pictures of our members working the event, volunteering. So that's some of the members of my club. And see, a good example of this is how we tag other people and other clubs. So this is an example of a video that we created with that tripod. And this was our Christmas party. And then this is us supporting Ho'olanapua. So, I mean, this is just examples. I know earlier you asked if we use special type of equipment. This is literally off of someone's iPhone. So that's kind of why I really urge you guys to just use what you have, because the quality will still be great as long as you get something out there.
So how are you doing the character generation over a video?
So with Instagram, I wish I could pair my phone with this, but with Instagram, because Instagram is on your cell phone. Unfortunately, you can't curate content for Instagram on a computer. It has to be on your phone. And what's great about Instagram is that it offers options built into the app that you can just add on to it. So it's really easy. So all of those graphics isn't something that we created. It's something that the app does for you. Which is great.
Randy. Excuse me,
It's
Randy.
Marco.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just
right.
curious, rather than create a new post in Instagram and one in Facebook, how do you make it flow between the two? How can you select to make it only flow?
Yeah, of course. So let me show you that. So with our club specifically, our Instagram flows into our Facebook. So unfortunately, since I can't show you that here on our Facebook, because we actually generate all our content on Instagram first, and that flows into our Facebook. But what I can do is, yes, Marco, exactly. There is actually an option on Instagram that, actually, let me open Instagram on my phone, and then I'll show you guys on my screen. So just give me 1 second. So hopefully this is helpful to you guys. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, okay, can everyone see me? So what I'm gonna do is show you guys on Instagram. Okay, so this is the Instagram app. This is what it looks like when you open the app. When you wanna create a post. I'm sorry, can you see it?
No.
It should be actually on my little screen, not on the big screen. It's on my video screen. Can you see it now?
Yeah, it's hard to see.
Okay, yeah, I know. I'm sorry. But if,
Yeah.
okay, let me go closer. So if you look on the bottom of the app, there's that square with the square with the cross in it. So you're gonna click on that, and that brings you up to your photos.
Yeah.
So then you're gonna select a photo. So I'll just select this photo here, and then you're gonna press next. So I'll press next. So it'll take you to this screen, and then let me show you on here. Let's see. If you look here, there's an option to flow to Facebook. And that's how we flow it over. So we just check this box and it'll flow to Facebook so that everything that's posted on Instagram will automatically go to our Facebook account.
So it does everything, or do you have to do that each time, Ellen?
So there's an option to do it automatically. Our club specifically took that option off because we wanted to be more cognizant of what goes to Instagram and Facebook. But for the most part, we flow everything over just so that there's consistency and greater visibility.
I have a question about Instagram because I don't know anything about it. So does everybody have to get an Instagram account, or can you get a business Instagram account that more than one person can use?
Yeah, so initially someone's going to have to create the Instagram. So whether that be you or your public image person, but the option for multiple people to manage the Instagram account, that's an option as well. So you can create one page and multiple people can manage it. And ideally with the Instagram, all you'll need is the login information. So everyone who has the login information will be able to log into that Instagram account.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what we do with our club, is that there's about 5 of us that have the login for that so that they can edit or add anything they want. Okay, does anyone have any other questions?
I just have one piece of information to share with the gentleman who asked about trying to find out whether they have a business or a personal page. And we've been working with ours to find that out in the last couple of weeks. If you go to settings and then go to page roles, you can see if the page owner, and then you can also see who is on there as an admin person.
Yeah, so that's great. So actually, do you want me, I can show you guys that on our page, what she's talking about. So if you want, you can go ahead and explain it to them, continue to explain it, and I'll just show them what that page looks like that you're talking about.
We went to our, because we really didn't know who started it and what it was under. And then we went up to the upper right where it says themes, and then down on the left, page roles, and we clicked on that. And then from there, it even told us who owned the page. There's a page owner, and you can jump to that section, or you can scroll down and you can see who's allowed right now as an admin person. And you can have more than one admin person too. But that was very helpful for us, and that's something nice to hand on to future boards and relations people in our for long term.
Exactly, and just like what she's saying to you guys, for example, so you click into settings, you go to page roles, and then specifically for our club, we have a page owner who is the person who created it, and then we have me as an admin, and then as you can see, all these people here as editors are people who can contribute to the page. And of course, the difference between admin and owner pretty much have the same admin rights to the page. The editors do not. They ideally can only add content. They can't change any of the ownership of the page. And ownership of the page can only be changed by the admin and the owner.
I have another question on that.
Yes.
Our page owner is address that doesn't even exist anymore. Should that be a concern of ours? Will Facebook eventually delete it, or are we okay?
You should be okay. The only time that may affect you is like in the future if let's say whoever's managing your page doesn't isn't a part of the club, and then let's say you guys want to change information and you guys can't verify it, because maybe that might be some of the security questions that come up when you're trying to change the ownership of the page. So I always recommend people to try to keep your information as up to date as possible, because that's how Facebook verifies people if there any of those type of situations arise. Because that similarly with us, with our Instagram, the person who used to manage our Instagram left our club, and we had to verify information, and we couldn't verify any of their information because it was like addresses we didn't know. So and telephone numbers and emails we didn't know. So I would just always recommend asking either the owner or whoever your admin is to just update the information to something that's universal that everyone knows, or everyone that is managing the page knows. Okay, any other questions? I think we have about 9 minutes left.
If you end up needing to change your page to an owner, is it possible to move all the content to that new page, or how does that work?
So ideally what happens is, I did this with a corporate account before, is you can contact Facebook directly. It is a challenge. So ideally what they're just gonna do is just kind of verify corporate information. So like, let's just say like what the business name is, and some people and the members. What's really cool, sometimes they do like face verification. So they'll send you like pictures of people on the page, and they'll ask you to tag them, tag whoever's in that picture, so that they can verify that you actually know these people. Yeah, so it's kind of cool. Facebook's super intuitive. They have some really cool ways of verifying, because I mean, it's social networking and it's business as well. So I mean, I'm sure you guys all know that there's times where big businesses lose their marketing director or their CEO, and all of a sudden now you have to verify all this information with someone that isn't there anymore, you know? So Facebook has some really cool ways of doing that.
I have a question. It's somewhat related. I'm on a board, a nonprofit board, and a person who was on the board started a Facebook page for the nonprofit, but did not start it as a business page, started it just as a personal page. This person's no longer on the board. We can't seem to get control of it.
What I would recommend is contacting Facebook and letting them know that that is not an official page of your company. And then what they'll do is verify your company. So they'll ask you for information of whoever your CEO is. They'll ask you various different things just to verify that you're actually part of it.
How do you contact Facebook?
Oh yeah, so if you see on the right-hand corner, there's this help button. And you can either send feedback, or there is a corporate number on the bottom. Hold on, let me see where it is. I can't seem to find it. It's probably on the main page. So I don't want to click out of the business page, because this is you'll see other companies that I manage.
Yeah, no, I get it. But
so what I'll do is I'll send you guys the contact information in a follow-up with Naomi, just in case, so that way you can help your board with that. But there definitely is a way you can do that.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
Hey, Randy, I have 2 more questions.
Of course.
So if you share a video or post from Instagram to Facebook, are you still able to edit it before you post it in Facebook? And the second question is, can you actually share Facebook posts to Instagram as well?
Okay, so that's a great question. So here is, let me delete that real quick before people start seeing that, because that was 21 minutes ago. Okay, so great question. Yes, that is a yes. So let me just find a post that was streamed over from Instagram. 1 second, okay? Okay, so this picture, for example, it's published by Rotary E-Club HI, which is our Instagram account. So you can see that I'm hovering over it and it shows that it's from our business Instagram account. But yes, when it flows over, you can always edit it. So you're gonna press on these 3 buttons here and you're gonna go to edit posts and you can edit it still. So if there's something small that you want to change, there's always that option. So yes. And in regards to flowing things over, that is an option as well. So you see here how I'm writing a post and then there's an option to share to Instagram. It's vice versa. So it goes both ways.
And then Instagram will only share the picture, right? Not any of the
It'll share the comment, the post comment as well.
Okay, and you can edit it as well in Instagram?
Correct, yep. So it's vice versa. You can do it both ways.
Okay.
And for Instagram, same thing. Let me see if I can do that here. So with Instagram, yes, you can just click on the 3 buttons and edit it.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Anything else? We're going to wrap up in about 3 minutes.
3 minutes, wow, long. Could you give us a quick recap of how to tag someone?
Oh, of course. So let's just do a sample post then. So what we'll do is, let's go into the photos. Okay, let's just pretend we did this. So let's just pretend that this is a photo of someone. And then you're gonna click on here to edit photo. And then, let's see. There we go. So, okay, actually let me show it to you on my phone because I have a Surface, so it does weird things. Okay, so let me just show you how to do it on, oh, actually here, sorry. I'm gonna get out of this real quick and I'm gonna go to a post. Okay, so if you wanna tag people, when you click into the photo, it'll say tag photo. And you can just click tag photo. What's great about Facebook is that it's super intuitive, that it'll already populate these face recognition things. And you can just click on this and it'll populate names of people. So I think it's great. Facebook is super intuitive. It's kind of scary, but it's weird that you can click on my face and it already knows it's me. So same as here, like I click on this and it already knows it's Howie. So that's the great thing about Facebook, is that it's super intuitive. It's just a little scary that the face recognition is that great. And then you just press done and then now they're tagged.
Okay, so if it didn't recognize the name.
So if you didn't recognize a name, so let's say Kathleen, you can just type in a name.
I see.
Yeah, so Kathleen, and now she's tagged. Yep. So either option. So usually Facebook, if you tag someone regularly, the face recognition works really well. If not, then you can just type in a name, and if they like your page or if they're on Facebook, you'll be able to find them. Yeah, and honestly, with photos, I would recommend always tagging people as much as possible. And you'll see in some of our posts, the posts that do well typically have a lot of tags in them because, for example, this one right here, we tag people. Let's see, let me show you one that we tagged a lot of people. Yeah, so for example, you'll see here, my name's tagged here. You want to tag your community partners as much as well, and then in hopes that they'll repost your photo as well, and it'll increase the engagement. Let me go to my page. I'll show you examples of how effective tagging people can be. So for example, here's an example, like Kathleen tagged me in her post, so it'll populate to my page. And that's kind of the great thing about tagging people, is that it increases your visibility and the opportunity for more people to see it. So you'll see this picture here. We essentially tagged all of our members that have a Facebook page, and that increased the amount of people that will be able to see this post now. So. Does that hopefully help answer some of your questions?
Guess we'll find out.
And of course, if you guys have
when
additional
when
questions.
you tag somebody, it goes.
Yeah, go ahead.
When you tag somebody, it goes to their Facebook page.
So yes, it does. And it just depends on their permissions. For the most part, most people will allow it. Some people, if they have a private page, it won't be shown on theirs. But that's kind of the great thing about tagging someone, is that the opportunity for it to show on their page as well is there. So you're just increasing your opportunity and the amount of people that will be able to see the post.
And then on Facebook, putting in hashtag whatever that's semi-related to the
yeah, so specifically with hashtags, what you're gonna want to do is you're going to want to use hashtags that are relevant. So kind of the purpose of hashtags really is to increase, because it's kind of like a sorting system. So let's say you put hashtag Rotary, and then you click on hashtag Rotary in that post. It'll show all of the posts that ever put hashtag Rotary. So that's kind of the great part, is that when you use a hashtag, it again increases your visibility. Yeah, any other questions? And of course, if you guys do have more questions, here's my contact information. If you guys want to take that down, and I'm always available for, if you want to reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook, or you can always message me on our club's Instagram or Facebook. And I'll definitely be able to help you. And in our follow-up, I'll ask Naomi if she can send my email out to all of you as well, so that if you guys have additional questions, I can help you. And if you guys are on Oahu, I definitely urge you to come to this weekend's district assembly, and I'll be teaching classes on social media as well as video filming. So it'll kind of go more into the nitty-gritty. So if you want more information and more how-tos, that's definitely where you'll be able to get that type of information. And if you ever do want someone to present about social media to your club and you guys want specific information, I can do that as well.
Hey.
Yeah, of course. I hope this was helpful for all of you, and definitely reach out to me if you guys have more questions, okay?
Thank you so much.
Of course. You guys have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Naomi.